Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 403 at scavengerlife.com.
Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I'm great.
We had a very nice date last night.
Yes.
We went to our little town's, community performing arts place, and there was a magic show.
It was a magic show. It was a mentalist show, which is a little bit different, although it's similar.
It was very cute, very cool.
It was. We saw a bunch of people we knew.
I was going to. I think that's one thing about being in a very small town is that you can go to an event and at least half the people.
Yeah, most of the people there.
Yeah,
which is hilarious.
It was fun.
And we never go out. We never do stuff like
cheap.
that.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
So today, Ryan, I would like to talk about FOMO.
Okay, explain what that is to the people who don't know.
You know what that is, right?
I know what it is because I'm on the internet 24/7.
Yep. Fear of missing out.
FOMO.
Or just basically envy. Or jealousy.
Yeah.
And there is a difference. Being a good Christian boy, I was taught this at a very young age when you would read the Bible.
Yes.
That, the 10 Commandments is one of them is being envious. And and so envy is when you're like, that guy has a car and I want his car.
That one, yeah.
The other one,
jealousy,
is when you're just like, oh, he has a car, I want a car just like that. There's a difference.
That's really weird. Yeah. That's
it's very specific.
No difference to me.
It is because one is you crave what someone else has. You don't want them to have it either. I want their thing.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, God.
Anyway, so I only bring this up because I don't know how other people are, but I think it's very common on the internet where you're skimming around, you see pictures of people, and you're like, oh, they're living this fabulous life.
Instagram.
And I think even within a little tiny world of people that sell online, there's that too.
Yeah.
I know I've had it.
Yeah.
Would you like me to confess my sins to you?
This is bizarre.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember 5 years ago or so, I found this guy online. I think his name's Pat O'Brien. I'm sure people will correct me. And he runs a site called something like passiveincome.com.
I love how you literally cannot remember the name.
It's kind of hazy. The main point is his whole thing is he's one of these guys. He's like, you can make passive income from home. He seemed like a nice guy though.
Yeah.
And he was very transparent. Right. He would show his accounting at the end of every month and how much money he was making. And he was trying to find ways to do passive income. And I remember the last time I looked, a long time ago, he was making $50,000 a month because of...
It was affiliate links, right?
Yeah, from a Bluehost,
right,
how to make
I remember that.
A website. Just because people are clicking on a link, he's making $50,000.
And we're
and then he's
what?
Setting up these online security classes for security guards. He just made a really simple little a video, and people would pay him $100, and then he would do classes, and he's selling books, and he's talking.
That doesn't sound very passive to me, but okay.
Whatever. I mean, I guess the idea is you do something once,
and it's just done, and it makes you money.
It just makes you money.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just like, my God, this guy's making so much money,
right. Why aren't we making that
even
much money?
A Mr. Money, a mustache, who I respect a lot, admitted in some article that he makes $500,000 a year.
Just on his website.
Credit card referral links.
That is so much
$500,000. And this guy only does a text blog post once a month, maybe. But it's just because he has this a forum where people
following. Yeah.
So I always have to ask myself. Well, number one, Ryan, do you ever have something?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar to that where you see people, and it's not so much those online people, it's entrepreneurs where they're like, oh, we thought of this idea and now we're millionaires, and you're like, I feel like I'm like wasting my life away selling like old shoes on eBay where like I'm a smart person, you're a smart person. And I mean, and also look, we moved here from Silicon Valley where we actually know people who became like unexpectedly we're like, I never thought that person would become literally a billionaire. You're like, we were some of our friends multi-millions where you're like they're living a good life wherever they feel like, and you're like, we were right next to them at the beginning. And even I have that feeling.
This week, and we don't have to name any names. Like we know a situation where someone we know kind of stumbled into possibly a couple $1 million, you know,
just literally stumbled in. It was like given to them, and you're like, cool. I could do so much with that.
And and so
you know what I mean.
So I think so. Why don't we go into that? So why? What's the problem here? Like, why am I like this? Why do we all feel like this? I mean, some of it is like, am I squandering an opportunity?
Right.
Like, am I doing something wrong? Like, I feel like I'm smart, I'm working hard, but like I'm not getting what I deserve.
Right, well, sure.
Or am I losing out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Or, you know, or I'll be like, this guy's making $50,000 a month. Like, what could we do with $50,000 a month? I mean, my God.
Well, that's my ultimate, thought. It's not like, I want their fancy car or their fancy house or their whatever they have. I'm like, I wish I had those resources, because right now, like the way we use our resources, it's very like a very thin line between like making money and investing and renovating real estate. You know, like, because I do our bookkeeping every month and I look at our books and I'm like, oh my God, it's like so close sometimes.
It's like, it always feels as if we're scrounging. We're like scrounging for $2,000 to like paint the building. Or,
exactly.
You know.
So you're never like, another 50,000 came in this month. Let's just do whatever. Like, I'm like, we paid someone $1,000 to do X, and you're like, you know.
Right.
And
I mean, even people that come on a forum, people that sell, like, we definitely aren't the ones that make the most money.
There's more
in
people.
Our community of people on
average,
a forum. Like, you know, and so when someone comes on and they're like, I make $15,000 a month, my question is always like,
what are you doing with that money?
What do you do with that? Like, that's a lot of money. Like, $15,000. Oh my God.
Well, look, so
we could like pay off a building in like a year. You know?
I was hanging out on Reddit, and there's a forum called Frugal, which, you know, has a lot to do with what we talk about here in our forum too. And there was one post that I read this morning where some guy was saying, you know, I'm trying to be super frugal, but my wife like will just buy stuff and then she'll like use stuff and throw it away and whatever. Like, how do I get her to be frugal too? And my question to him was,
divorce her.
Well, no, but I'm like, you know, what is your purpose and your goal for being frugal? Because apparently she's not on the same page. Like, are you saving for real estate? Are you saving for your kids' college? Are you saving to start a business? You know, if she's not on the same page, she's like, why? We have money. Let's spend it, you know?
But the whole point, though, of being, like, you know, seeing what other people have, I mean, like, why can't I have that?
Yeah.
Here are some things.
Yeah.
So, few things are as easy as they look. Mm-hmm. And I think we all know this. Like, that guy, I think it's named Pat O'Brien or whatever, the passive income guy. Who knows what his life is like? It's like you said, it's probably not very passive. He probably does a lot of work.
Yeah.
Who knows what his life is like? Some people just are in the right place at the right time. Like you said, our friends in Silicon Valley, like, I'm sure we're thinking of the same exact guy. He just happened to, like, be involved in a company at the exact right time that got bought, and then suddenly he's, like, a hippie millionaire, you know?
Yeah.
Some people lie.
Interesting.
We know this.
Embellish.
We know this on the internet. I think there is like a Reddit there's a subreddit called like Instagram reality.
Oh my God, it's really depressing.
I don't even know how this happens, but they'll show, I guess, like a woman will post a photo on Instagram, and then they'll show
like touched up,
like the same photo in reality. And I don't know how they do this. I guess it's Photoshop.
It's some kind of app.
You know, they're like skinnier, looking better. Or,
yeah.
I don't know if Instagram has like a filter that makes you look more beautiful. Or you know how like people are like taking pictures of themselves, trying to show this image of this wealth, carefree a lifestyle.
Yeah.
When in reality, they're...
Well, that's all they're showing.
Yeah,
I mean...
They're struggling.
Well, it's tough.
It's like any of us.
I feel like it's the rise of social media that has created that. Right. Where it's like, you know, people's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, where they're like, check out my cool life. And then, you know... You're like, wow, my life definitely doesn't look like that. But if you only showed like the cool things on Instagram,
like look at me, I'm like traveling around, and I'm doing these things.
Yeah,
who knows? I mean, I even think with anyone online, like we're online, people are hearing us every week. I mean, I hope people don't FOMO us.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right term I'm using, but if people like hear us, and I think that's why I always like to talk about our struggles.
Yeah,
like. We're 10 years into this thing we've started here, and it's still a struggle. I mean, sorry.
Well, I think there's a way to frame it. I mean, I was saying that it feels like a struggle sometimes, but when you're not just staying stagnant, when you're not like, okay, well, we started this business and we're making money and we're good. Like, we're always like pushing ourselves especially with, you know, real estate. You know, that stuff's expensive. And you really have to, like, you know, be smart about it, or else you will just be like, our money's gone, we have to stop.
Right. Like, we are on some kind of passive income reality here. This is...
Right.
Investing, working, it's struggle, it's all in a good way, it's stuff we want to do. Yeah. But the very real fact is, things can always go south.
Right.
Like... We have a backup plan, but not as great as I wish we had.
Yeah.
You know, like if the economy were to suddenly crash, I'm pretty sure we'd be okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, because we're trying to do all these things,
we
just don't have like, you know, all this cash that we could fall back on.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So my solution is, when I start feeling that way towards other people, is number one, I don't look at it. Like, I talk about that guy, Pat O'Brien from Smart Passive Income.
Right.
If that's his name. I have not gone back to that site in 5 years.
You're like,
I don't want to know.
Right.
Like, I mean, and the other thing is, I wish people the best.
Yeah.
Like, I wish him well. I wish anybody well, you know? I want people to be doing well and making money. Like, I think it's a bad thing. I think very often you can fall into that trap of like hoping something bad happens to someone else.
To be like, aha, told you so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Something that we did talk about is like just being grateful for what we do have.
Absolutely. I think so. It's true. It happened a few times this week with several people that we met or we knew or whatever, where there were times where, you know, I was speaking to them and, you know, you were hearing my phone conversation. You were like, what about this? What about this? What about this? They have to think about this. It was like someone that I knew who wants to start a certain business. And I was just like, I just have to be encouraging because I know all the questions I want to ask that they probably don't want to ask themselves yet.
Sure.
But I need to just be like, yeah, do the research, you know, find out the numbers, figure out if this is something you really want to do. You know, they were looking to me for advice.
Okay, I'm going to talk about something else because that's not exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
I want to talk about like when you found out that someone we know fell into a lot of money.
Yeah, I was pretty bad.
Jealous. You would like stick your head in the room and be like, yeah, but what about this thing with him? And I'd just be like, Ryan, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably not going to be as easy for him as what you think. We have to think about what we have.
Right.
that it's ours.
That's what I'm saying.
That
you have to stay positive and
right.
think about your own business and your own life and be like, well, what do I have that I've worked towards?
Right.
And it's this.
So anyway, I think that's the thing. It's just about, and it's basically, we talk about it. I mean, this is what the whole podcast is. It's just us catching up. It's with our week and making sure we're doing the best we can.
Right.
You know, we've also made a choice. It's not to like show our faces in this podcast.
Right.
Like we could make a lot more money maybe if we
did videos,
videos, and you know, or if we sold courses, or if we jammed our website full of ads that we hate, of things we hate. I mean, this is what we like doing.
Yeah,
this little simple podcast. We like to sell things on the internet.
Well,
we like to do these other things, and it feels good.
Well, it keeps your life like manageable when you're doing the things you want to do the way you want to do them. Like there have been times in the past where it's like, well, we could do it like that other person, but we're like, well, we don't like that. It doesn't feel good. Like it doesn't feel like the right thing for us to do, so we don't do that. You know, and I think that's what it comes down to. I mean. Yeah. Tell
me if this rings true to you.
Yep.
I know it sounds weird, but sometimes success can be just as tough as failure.
Yes.
Like, do we struggle with that? Do you struggle with that when things are really going good? You start being like,
well, honestly, when things are going really good, it means a lot of times things are very busy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I feel like I can't keep on top of everything at once.
But I mean, I even think about like all the like actors and singers and politicians and preachers and CEOs who like fail as miserably when they get all this success and money because like people sabotage themselves.
Sure.
I think for me, it's important that we take on only as much that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know what I would do with $50,000. I mean,
I
do, but like what you would have to do
to get to that point.
To make that kind
exactly
of money. Like we've talked about these jobs that we, you know, if we wanted to go back into a working world. We've talked about we have some entryways into like jobs where we might be able to make
a lot of money.
Decent money.
Right.
But everything you have to kind of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Get that. It's just important to me that we're doing what we want and we know we've earned it and we sleep well at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But it's tough to get to that place sometimes, you know.
Of course. Yeah. So anyway, I hope that
FOMO
made sense for people.
Here's my new phrase: FOMO, FOMO.
And do not come on the forum and tell me how much Pat O'Brien makes. I don't want to know
his real name. Don't tell me that.
I wish him well. Like,
you better Google him now.
Allow him to be rich. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about our eBay week.
Gut reaction.
No, not yet. A couple things. So this is something I meant to talk about a week ago, but it's happening, I guess, for a while now, for a past, it's a month or so, and a Retro WV brought it up.
Yes.
There's some weird first class postage bug.
So here's the deal, because Jay's not going to be able to explain it. Okay. He's like, it's a weird postage bug. I don't know what that means.
I'm teeing it up for you.
Yeah, it's fine. So what it looks like is the only place on the internet or anywhere where it's available to pay for between 14 and 16 ounces first class is eBay. eBay labels, which is awesome. However, it seems that eBay is using the price of 14 to 16 ounces as simply priority mail. Like this morning, I actually saw, I sent an invoice to someone for something for first class, and it was like priority mail to this person, $10.50, first class, $10.50. You're like, what? I mean, obviously I brought the price down. I was like, it's not going to cost that much for this thing. So yeah, that's a major bug, because then when people are looking at this lightweight item that's maybe 14 ounces, it's like way more expensive than it's actually going to be to buy that label.
And then they might not buy it.
And then they're like, well, that's too, because I've done that where I'm like, why are they charging that much?
So you think eBay just hasn't...
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know what the deal is. And it's stuff like this where you're like, eBay, this is a pretty important bug that needs to get fixed.
You have one job.
You have one job to calculate shipping properly, like on your platform.
Now, is there anything we can do on our end so people see the cheaper rate, or just like there's nothing? Because
I don't know, unless you take all the 14 to 16 ounces. But so you're like, so all my 14 to 16 ounces,
right?
What am I going to do? Just put those on priority? Because I don't even know how we would do it.
If we have any reach here inside
eBay, are you
of the
listening?
eBay Borg, we ask you,
please fix that bug.
Fix that.
I'm feeling it in my sales.
Yep.
But I would love to hear our numbers eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are going to get there. Another thing is this week, someone came on the its forum and told everyone, just to remind them, that eBay had like a 15% off site-wide sale.
Yeah.
Mobile only, though.
It was only on the... So if you're on your desktop trying to buy stuff, it wouldn't apply. So I had to so I have a buying account. I had to log into the buying account on my phone and be like, okay. And then I got 15% off a handful of items.
But it was cool, though. We actually went and bought some things.
Yeah.
Because it was... But again, I always say this. It's really interesting. So it's 15% off site-wide.
So eBay takes that hit.
eBay eats that.
Because...
So it's really interesting.
Anyone who bought on my store, I didn't see 15% I wasn't getting, so...
So I guess that just comes out of their advertising budget.
Right, something like that.
We didn't see any bump in sales, but good
God.
for them. I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due if they're trying to...
I've seen them do that a lot of times with the 15% off site-wide, even just on the desktop or wherever. Right. So it is kind of nice that they do those every once in a while. Although what sucks is when you realize it was yesterday and you're like, or you bought something and didn't, see it on the banner or whatever. Right. I wish it would just be in your cart where it's hey,
Okay, gut reaction to the week.
Slow, depressing. I don't think we even met our goal.
Slow AF, right?
Slow AF, and people giving me offers that are low that I'm accepting, and they still don't pay. You're like, what?
Okay, so here are some facts before we get into our numbers. So we sold 34 items, so we're kind of into our numbers. 6 of those items were between $50 and $75. Nothing over $100.
Yeah.
So that means 28 items were $30 or less.
It felt like that.
We made this week $1,114.
I can't believe we hit.
We
1,
made it.
I can't.
We hit our $1,000 goal, and it took yesterday.
Yeah.
We went into Saturday, the last day of eBay's week or whatever.
Right.
Where we still hadn't made $1,000.
Well, we sold one thing for $97. So
I was
that
just
helped.
this might be the week where we don't hit
the
our
lowest
target.
ever.
We just barely made it.
Well, and there's a couple of people who haven't paid, so you're like, come on.
I mean, it really did feel this week for us just people weren't buying.
People weren't buying anything.
We weren't getting offers or questions. It was just...
Or if we were getting offers, it was less than half price, a quarter of the price. And I'm like, I can't do it, man. Yeah. I can't.
I can really feel it with you. Wow.
You're so what would happen would be like yesterday. The entire day goes by till 5 o'clock at night. Not a question, not an offer, nothing, silence. And then 3 offers come in and you're $20 offers for things I have up for $80. And you're like, what am I doing? What is happening here? It's so depressing.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's funny you brought up this whole FOMO thing where you're like, what are we doing wrong? Why is this person making $50,000 a month doing nothing?
Why is this 7-year-old kid on YouTube making $50 million a year opening presents?
And I'm struggling to sell just anything out of my 8,000 items.
Think about our life. It's good.
I know. I want things to be.
We sleep without an alarm clock.
I know.
We have lots of food.
Oh no, it's true.
We have a delicious coffee machine.
Yes, I know.
We have cats that love us.
Yes.
It's a good life.
Yes. I have a power washer. I've been power washing things all weekend. That's great. It makes me feel better.
Yeah. Okay, things we sold. I mean, there really isn't a lot to talk about. It was just basically like coffee mugs and like a couple pieces of pottery.
And like some old shoes.
A bird collar.
Oh, that was $75.
Yeah.
That bird collar.
That was
this week. God, that feels like forever ago.
A sink faucet. Our highest price was a sink faucet.
It wasn't even a sink faucet. It was a sink faucet handles. Just handles. A really high-end brand.
Yeah. So, there you go.
What can you do?
Yep. Scavenge of the week. We did no scavenging this week.
Wow. Is that true?
Yep.
Yeah.
We were busy doing other things, but we still had plenty of inventory from when we went to that auction.
Yeah, that we're still getting through that.
Our helper's been taking pictures.
We got to go shopping soon, though, because we're getting low on stuff for her. But I think also what I was talking about this week, where it's tough to be like, okay, let's get more stuff for her when like literally nothing's selling. Okay, $1,000, that's not bad. I shouldn't complain about that. But it feels so like sluggish.
Okay, so let's talk about perspective.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were starting, even in the first couple of years?
Yeah.
If someone told you, Ryan,
you make $1,000 a week,
you're going to be making $1,000 a week on a slow week, would you have believed that?
Look, so
answer my question.
No, I would not have believed that. So the other thing too is though, when you're right in the middle of a renovation that you're trying to like get done by the summertime, $1,000 where you're like, I just paid that for half the payment for a floor sander,
because we've just upped our
goals and costs and ambitions,
expectations.
So, you can tell that's how I feel. So
this is exactly the kind of conversations we have.
This is like right into our life.
Customer issues. We mentioned it a week ago.
And you want to talk about this? Yeah.
We sold a very big, like,
custom-made metal, steel, lantern lamp thing.
Yeah. It was something I found it's New York.
We thought we were going to use it at one of our rentals, but it was too big for the space.
So we sold it. The guy got it. He doesn't like it. He's returning it. Item not as described. We have to pay to ship it back. There and back. So we're going to lose $150 on this thing.
Yeah.
And all we can do is be a professional. It's fine. It's a part of doing business. We'll eat it and we'll resell the thing.
Yeah.
But it really is like the nightmare return for any of those out there, people out there who, like us, will sell anything as long as we can ship it. And those really big items. I mean, I can't remember the last time we've had an item this big being returned, and it's just a painful
I can count on one hand the times it's happened, and it's been the last year that it's happened.
Okay, things that happen in the forum. A couple of good conversations.
Yes, good conversations.
Someone new came on. They talked about Goodwill.
Yes.
Has anyone ever noticed that when you go to Goodwill, it's more like a retail store?
The prices are getting higher and higher.
Prices are too high, and it's packed with stuff because no one's buying. Yes. I think all of us have been feeling this for a while now. Places like Goodwill, Salvation Army, I mean, they're basically becoming like TJ Maxx.
Like Marshalls or something.
And I think a lot of it's just because, number one, there are more people who are scavenging, like all of us. So people, and Goodwill is really like the place to go because they're everywhere.
Especially the first,
It's like the easy gateway drug to scavenging, you know? And number two, I think the Goodwills and those kind of thrift stores are just getting smarter, and they're pulling out good stuff before it even hits the floor. And they're
auctioning it. I mean, I bought a couple things online from other, on eBay from Goodwills. You're like, oh, that's Goodwill. Like, that I just bought this thing from.
But I will say, then a lot of other scavengers chimed in, and it's true, that no matter what, they will always miss stuff.
That Goodwill will miss stuff.
Yeah.
It'll go through the cracks. Right. That's happened to us before.
Yeah. And people always have stories of, I found like a leather jacket or like a piece of art that's worth, thousands of dollars. Right. I mean, I guess, but the point is though, is that it has changed. When we first started, I was going to Goodwill once or twice a week. Yeah. And I would walk out of there with trash bags full of like jackets and shoes. I mean, it was just a lot easier to just like...
And it was cheaper. I mean, I remember,
See, I don't really know if it's that much cheaper. I just think the quality is
I mean, I'll stand in front of the shoes at this certain Goodwill that we go to, and I'm like, I don't see a single pair that I would be willing to pay like $4 for, or whatever the price is. I mean, I know some people are like, $4, that's a deal, but
you know, I know that there will be people commenting saying like they only shop at Goodwill and they always find good stuff. That's cool. I think it's different by a region.
Yeah, sure.
Stores. I just think that's why we always talk about there's so many different ways to scavenge, you know?
Yeah.
And then the other thing on the forum that I thought was interesting is that someone brought up that the trending rate for some categories for promoted listings is getting really high.
Right.
So like this person says that collectibles, the trending rate is up to 16.4%.
Yep.
So that means that people who sell collectibles, the trending rate is they're willing to give eBay another 16.4% to promote their items, which I guess just means bump them up in search.
Right.
Or insert them into a search.
The thing about trending rate is, you know, as it says, it's based on other users. So if everyone starts bumping the rate up, it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. I've noticed it with clothing. There's some really high rates for clothing, and I'm like, nope, not putting that rate on.
I mean, to me, eBay is just taking advantage of the fact that there are sellers who desire to lose money. Like people who are impatient. Yeah. So they're just like, I'm just going to slash my store at 50%. I'll do these, you know, promoted items for, you know, 16%. I'll do they're just like, I don't care. I'll sell my items for $5 with free shipping, you know. It's just, they're the ones that are skewing these numbers.
Well, it's tough because I'm like, I do want to use promoted listings, but if I put everything at 4 or 5%, does it matter? I mean, the good thing is you don't pay for it if someone doesn't click through your promotion.
If they buy.
They buy.
Yeah, I mean, only if they click through and buy.
Right. So in a way, that's good. It's not like you're like $100 a month for promotions plus the amount you know, like you're not really paying for it unless it's actually useful. But then you're like, how high does my rate have to be for it to be useful?
But it is kind of tricky because, you know, someone puts like a 20% sale, then you do 10% promoted, and then eBay and PayPal are taking 13.5% off.
It just gets higher and higher and higher.
You're like, wow, 40% of my sale is just gone. You know,
for me at this point, I am using promoted listings, but I'm just kind of like shrugging because I'm like, this doesn't. If everyone can promote everything. What's the point?
Yep.
There's no difference.
So people are screaming right now. They're like, Ryan, promoted is mainly good for commodity items where you have like a lot of competition. Yeah. Is it worth it for
they're right.
You know, collectibles.
I think at this point they're right.
Vintage items.
I will say when promoted listings was in beta, when was this? A year ago?
Yep.
I could tell the difference in our sales.
Because it was restricted. Because
it was only a certain amount of sellers were allowed to use promoted.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll promote everything. Yeah. We'll, you know, put it at a reasonable low rate, 3%, 4%. Yeah, I could tell the difference.
But then when they open it up, now it's like...
Yeah, it's like if everyone's promoting everything, it's the same.
I mean, basically, like I see a person at eBay is like, dude... People are just paying us more money to sell the same things they sold a week ago. This is great. We just suddenly double our money. You know?
It's like when people say they search for things, and they're like, "You have 2 of the exact same thing listed," and I'm like, "No, you're seeing the promoted and you're seeing the regular right next to each other." You're like, "What?" Yeah. On the page, you're like, "So what is the point of
promoted? This? Can you put in anything? Did you say eBay? I'll pay you 80% of the sale to
I think it's
this?
max 20. I don't think you can go above that.
Okay.
Yeah, right. What if you were like promoted 100%?
I just wonder.
I will give you all my profit.
If just there are these people who are just like, they don't, I don't know, I guess they sell for hobby, or I don't know why they would not want to make.
I think there's a max.
Selling, but why they don't want to make any cash. But yeah, people who just sell in such crazy ways where it's just like, how are you making any money from this?
Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway, if you want to join our forum, scavengerslife.com/forum. We are a no spam zone, so please, when you sign up, you just send us an email and we will approve you.
We will approve you,
yeah.
And you can sign in.
It's a hand-tailored forum,
yes.
Hand-picked, hand-chosen. It's delicious.
It's a lot of work to keep up with everyone who signs up all week.
Okay, so let's do it. Take the calls that people did this week.
There are 0 calls. There's not a single voicemail email.
Yeah.
And there are no calls. Okay. So apparently everybody knew everything this week that they
Everyone's
needed to know.
Everyone's doing great. Everyone's doing cool. Everyone's selling a lot.
I need to call our hotline and ask a question. Why are my sales so slow?
Okay, before we close, Ryan, our coming week.
I
think we're doing a bunch of fun stuff.
We're keep going. This floors got sanded in the apartment. They look freaking
We'll almost
gorgeous.
have our third rental where we're on the road to having it booked.
I think we're 2/3 done.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you say?
I would say 73%.
73%.
Yeah.
Okay, 3/4 done. 73%.
We're
okay.
Almost there. We
getting
need
close
to do some scavenging, so we have some driving around we have to do anyway. So we'll insert some scavenging. It's within our daily lives.
Yep.
And all's well in the world. And it's springtime. Things are looking beautiful.
I've been like, I got my power washer out. I power washed 2 rugs.
Yep.
And one got super clean. I was like, whoa.
Yep. I didn't even know that was possible, but yeah, you said the internet people told you it was okay.
Reddit told me. Yep.
So that's good.
Okay, so if you want to call our voicemail line, which we would love to hear from you, the phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. Okay, you can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discuss and to join the conversation on the forum. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video. You can subscribe to our Patreon account and support us for as little as $5 a month. You can subscribe for free to iTunes and YouTube so you always get the latest episode. You can buy our archive of 5 years worth of podcasts so you can listen to it offline on your devices. That's on the sidebar. Download all. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.